You're so dumb.
What's up, everyone? I'm back.
As you guys heard in the not trailer or teaser from episode 12, Allison's been sick for a while. You want to let them know what happened?
I'm not like sick, you guys. I still have an ear infection right now. I can literally only hear from my right ear. Okay, so, but yeah, no, last week it literally felt like there was a knife in my ear.
Oh my god.
So I couldn't do anything, you guys. I'm so sorry. There was no teaser. But we're back. It is episode 13 of Two Cold Brews.
Woo! Yeah, it's episode 13. Welcome to episode 13, folks. As we're recording this, it is Saturday, June 12th, which is, I don't know the right term, but it's like national, or Philippine Independence Day. And yeah, that is what this episode is going to be about. It's going to be the theme of the Philippines.
Philippines Independence Day.
Yeah, Philippines Independence Day. I feel like everyone listening knows someone who's Filipino because there's so much of us. I mean, if you know us, you're already part of it. So yeah, Allison doesn't really know what we're going to talk about. Aside from it being about the Philippines. Do you have any ideas what we'll do?
Okay, honestly, it's kind of shitty that I don't know much about the Philippines. I only know the stories that I've been told from, my family and, where they're from, and just, growing up, but, I don't know anything about the Philippines.
Yeah, the history. And I feel like I
literally don't know anything.
A lot of people our age and probably even younger are in your shoes, me included, where we don't know much about the Philippines.
I didn't even know about Filipino Independence Day till you brought it up.
Oh, yeah. It's today. I know it because it's also my grandma's birthday.
Okay, yeah.
So that's how it's always been associated in my family. But we're going to learn today, everybody, about the Philippines. A short history lesson. So, I feel like I'm in grade 5 talking about, where are you from? What's your country?
Do you know who the president is?
Yes.
Chris Aquino.
No. I was like, we're not going to get into this topic about Duterte. Chris Aquino, icon. You might know her as the that one lady from Crazy Rich Asians.
Oh yeah.
The one who was
the princess?
Super cold. Yes, the princess.
The princess at the wedding.
Oh my god, I'm crying.
Sorry, I have to constantly pop my left ear.
Honestly, I don't know much about the Philippines, so I'm reading off of a website.
Is it Wikipedia?
No, okay. It's called localhistories.org.
Okay.
I didn't even know this. So the Philippines is named after King Philip II of Spain.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a Spanish colony for over 300 years. Today, the Philippines is an archipelago of 7,000 islands, which is why I think we have the nickname Thousand Islands or something. However, it is believed that during the last ice age, they were joined to mainland Asia by a land bridge, enabling human beings to walk from there.
Yeah, that's why people go, island hopping in the Philippines.
Yeah, there's so many tiny islands there that are just so beautiful. I want to go back and just go there and relax. I, feel like there's two narratives of the Philippines that coexist, but it's so weird. Where, it's the island hopping kind of country where it's just gorgeous, but then it's also so fucking poor and impoverished.
Honestly, when you're rich in the Philippines, you're really rich, and honestly, it's your dollar goes a long way.
Yeah,
so you can afford to have nannies and maids and stuff.
Yeah, it's you're either really rich in the Philippines or you're either really poor. There's no in between for you, and in terms of the Gini coefficient index, or the coefficient Gini, which is a measure of the inequality gap or the wealth gap. Basically, if you're at 0, you're the closest you can be to equality. Whereas if you're at 1, you're probably the most unequal country. And the Philippines lands somewhere at around 0.5, which is really, really high. Like in Canada, we're like 0.3.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a huge gap there in terms of wealth. Yeah. And you can, like, our families came from different places. Like, your family was rich there and my family was poor there. Mm-hmm. Right?
Yeah, like, my family back home are, like, they're more well off there than we are here, to be honest. Yeah. Well, like, everyone in the Philippines think, like, oh, you're from Canada, you have so much money. Oh my God, yes. You know what I mean? Like, so many people, like, we will be, like, messaging on Facebook, oh, can you send whatever, you know? Mm-hmm. But, like, yeah, my family there is, yeah, they're better off there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Honestly,
that's why my mom loves going there, because it's like she's like living the life.
Yes, there are those. Yeah, I get it. Yeah, that seems to be a thing where every Filipino who lives abroad has like the thing that they're apparently rich. Where I'm like, no, man. The cost of living outside of the Philippines is so much higher than in the Philippines itself. Anyways,
it's just that our dollar is just worth more.
Yeah. I feel like it's hard. It can be hard to get rich in the Philippines, but once you have money, you can live good. Mm-hmm. Whereas in Canada, like, your minimum wage can get you a long way in the Philippines, but it's hard to make a decent living in Canada if that's all you're earning. Mm-hmm. Developed country energy. Honestly, that's all I knew about the Philippines. I don't want it to be like... No, it's
this
not.
This is like not even preschool 101 Filipino history. We're probably the worst examples.
Yeah, honestly, yeah.
But you know, we just wanted to shed some light on our culture, you know?
Yeah, like the way I understand the Philippines too, and we can link like resources somewhere. Mm-hmm. But I know there's a huge Spanish influence, obviously, with Spain,
like my mom's side, and like her dad is from, like, I know, like, we have like Spain like background and everything, like in my mom's side, and like my dad's side's dad, so my grandpa. So so both my grandpas.
Yeah, that's why, like, for a lot of people for people listening that aren't Filipino, a lot of Filipinos' last names are usually Spanish because of the colonization.
So but usually Spanish, Chinese.
Yeah, the other side is Chinese.
Yeah.
And, like, I feel like I come more from the Chinese end because, like, I feel like I don't look Spanish at all or have any influences of Spanish in me. And my last name has no relation to, like, the Philippines at all.
I can't wait to do the DNA test.
Yeah, because my last name has trails from, like, South Africa. So, like, when I used to be on Facebook, a lot of people from South Africa would add me because of my last name. Yeah. And we shared the last name.
Yeah.
I'm like, did someone in my family come from South Africa? Or did we just choose this name?
Yeah.
So, I don't know. But I thought it would be fun to talk about 10 things or interesting things about the Philippines.
Okay.
That we may or may not know.
You know what I thought the national anthem was?
Bye,
Kubo. Oh,
what? What are you wait.
It's Bye, Kubo. Da-na-na. You know that song?
No. What the heck?
I thought this was the national anthem. Okay, and I just found out today it wasn't because I was Googling stuff. This song. We'll play like 5 seconds so we don't get any copyright.
Could go. What song is this? This is a karaoke song. You're so dumb. Oh my god.
I was like searching. I'm like,
I cannot believe you.
And I was like, wow.
I can't.
This isn't the national anthem. I thought it was.
No, but to be fair, I only know like the first syllable of our national anthem.
What is it?
Yeah.
Okay, if you grew up listening to like the Filipino channel, like growing up, and your parents or your grandparents would be like watching.
Wow, wee.
Insert that Filipino like laugh.
Yeah. That one?
Yes.
Super high pitch.
I'm freaking dying.
Okay. Here's 10 facts.
Okay.
That we probably don't know about the Philippines.
Okay.
All right. 1. The Philippines is made up of 7,641 islands, making it one of the largest archipelagos in the world. Do you know how dumb I feel right now not knowing what this word is? Archipelago. A group of islands. Just say that. But did you know more than 5,000 of these islands are actually unnamed on most international maps?
Oh, like natives.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've seen like documentaries on like on YouTube, and like the Filipino channels. They'll like show like some documentaries on it.
Yeah, honestly, that trips me out that like we are living in a completely different like mindset and civilization compared to like these native tribes in the Philippines that like don't know the things we're doing.
Yeah, but it's like, you know what, we're not trying to bother you like
no.
and disturb your peace, you know?
You do you, man.
Yeah.
Like
that's what I'm saying. Like, you know when like people like go in and try to like integrate themselves, it's like,
why?
Well, leave them alone. Them alone.
This thing on YouTube popped up where this guy, it wasn't in the Philippines, it was like a different island in a different country, went to this island 3 times and tried to convert these people to Christianity.
Did he die?
Yeah, he died.
Okay, yeah. I think I've heard about this.
And then people got so triggered. They're like, bring him back, bring his bodies back. And like the people who were protecting the natives were like, no, man. Like they told him to leave. And he left 2 times without being harmed, which is a huge thing. Like it's his fault at the end of the day that he died.
Yeah.
So anyways, yeah, that's fact number 1. Fact number 2, I don't know, I've never heard of this. So, due to the large volume of text messages sent throughout the country, the Philippines earned its nickname as the text capital of the world.
Text capital?
Yeah, I think we send out the most text messages as a country.
I know that they call it minutes or like load.
Yes.
Load, right?
Yeah.
So like, I have to load my card.
It's like a pay-per-use. Oh, not pay-per-view. Paper.
What's it freaking called?
Pay-per-use?
No. Pay as you go.
Pay as you go, yes. Pay-per-use. That's what we call it, but it's called load in the Philippines. Yeah. Makes sense, honestly, because like the majority of people I see on TikTok are Filipino. Like there's such a huge social media thing in the Philippines.
Yeah, I know that you can buy like little Wi-Fi adapters or some, I don't even know.
Like hotspots?
Yeah, because like I know like when my mom FaceTimes my cousin in the Philippines.
Yeah.
She has like a little Wi-Fi thing that she brings with her. Like, you have to, like, obviously pay for it.
Yeah.
And so, like, my mom was telling me when she was there, like, she has one. Like, I know.
Wow. Interesting. Okay. Yeah. I'm interested to see people's, you know, like on your iPhone where you see screen time, like how many hours a day Filipinos spend on their phones. Because I feel like it's a lot.
Oh, yeah. 100%.
I feel like Filipinos are the people often you see on Facebook and Instagram, like always documenting their lives.
Oh, like they're addicted to Facebook.
It's true.
It's Facebook and like Messenger on Facebook.
Yeah, why is that a thing?
I have no clue, but like my mom is obsessed.
Yeah, same with my sister-in-laws.
Yeah, they're obsessed. They have to update their lives every 30 minutes.
My ate goes on Facebook Live, like if we're barbecuing or like the kids are out.
Yeah.
She's like, going out.
It's crazy. Like, and like, they always have to like do something to post.
Yes. Always. Did you know Ate told me this, that like Starbucks is a status symbol in the Philippines?
Yeah, my mom told me. There's a Tim Hortons now there, but she said she doesn't like it. She said it tastes different. Yeah. So she prefers the Starbucks in the Philippines.
Yeah, but it was just so weird to me because like it's like a regular thing for most people here, like getting their coffee. But like if you can get Starbucks in the Philippines, it means like you have money.
Yeah, and bubble tea too, like chat time specifically.
Really?
Yeah.
That is so interesting to me. Like these are all regular things we do, and I think this is probably...
mom was telling me how like there's certain malls that are like upper class malls.
Mall of Asia.
Like, versus like going to like markets and stuff. And like obviously there's like certain areas you go to and all that stuff. And yeah, it's weird, man.
I feel like from like what we know with personal experiences and having Filipino relatives, like it is important to like show your status or like what you can afford there.
Yeah. Everything, you know what? You gotta have money. Yeah. Yeah. Very you gotta have status and money. It's crazy.
All right. Number 3. The Philippines is the only Asian nation. The Philippines is the only Asian nation that is predominantly Christian. While many of its Southeast Asian neighbors practice Buddhism, 86% of the Filipino population is Roman Catholic. That includes my family.
Yeah, I know. I haven't been to the Philippines since I was like 11 or 12. Yeah. And so church on Sundays is a big thing. Totally. You have to dress up too. You gotta look good. And then certain families are allowed to sit at the front. Really? Yeah. Like, wow. Like where like my mom's from, like I remember like only like certain families would be allowed to sit at the front. Because, well, they're the ones who would give the most donation.
Really? That's
crazy. And the church is freaking huge, man.
Yeah, man.
They're like the ones in Montreal.
Oh, like cathedral type of churches? Holy shit. Yeah. I don't know. Like, I think our generation is probably the Filipinos that are growing up that's not really religious, or they don't prioritize religion as much.
I think a lot of our generation, like in my opinion, I think they hide the fact that they're not religious from their parents.
I see. I don't. Like, my brother and I, we grew up Roman Catholic, and we respect, like, our parents' point of view with religion, and we go to church for certain, like, important events as a family to respect it. So, like, birthdays, holidays, all of that stuff, but we don't go regularly. Like, he and I.
Yeah, no, I whenever I would go with my mom, I'm like not mentally there.
Yeah, I like zone out.
Yeah, I don't even know the prayers anymore.
You know they changed the prayers, right? Like they changed like a few words in Hail Mary and Our Father.
I have no clue.
And I was like, oh my god, I was saying the wrong words. And yeah, that's a fact. Okay. 4. 3 out of the 10 largest shopping malls in the world are located in the Philippines.
Really?
I see that, yeah.
I thought, like, isn't there one in, like, the Mall of America?
No,
and then
Mall
Singapore,
of
right?
Mall of Asia.
That's in the Philippines?
Yeah. Oh. And then we have, like, remember, like, the Greenbelt Mall? Like, the really bougie one?
Is it the one where there's, like, an indoor vibes?
Yeah. Yeah. It's, like, super bougie.
It's super bougie, yeah.
Yeah.
My mom was telling me how there's this... Maybe that's the mall. Because when she went, she said how you have to have a driver or a car. You can't go in there with tricycle or bus.
Yeah, no. Like, it's, like... When I walked there in, like, my old Navy dress, I literally saw, like, so many rich Filipinos. Yeah. And, like, I'm calling it as it is, and, like, what I see, it's, like, Filipino women with old white men. Like, I don't know why, but they'd be, like, decked out in, like, the best clothing and just, like, have the most expensive bags with them. And it was like, wow, this is a whole different world, bro.
Man. You have to dress up.
Yeah.
You can't be looking bummy.
I cannot relate to that. Like, jeez. But yeah. So... 5. An iconic symbol of the country is, guess what it is?
A star or the sun?
No.
Symbol?
It's something we use often in the Philippines as a mode of transportation.
Oh, tricycles?
No.
Or a bus?
What's it called?
I don't know. I have no clue.
It's called a jeepney.
Oh, okay.
So for those who don't know, a jeepney is literally like a Jeep truck or like basically a mini bus.
Yeah, without any windows or doors.
Without any windows or doors that you hop into and basically pay the driver and just kind of get off and stop wherever you need to go. That was the time I realized I have a really long torso because I was sitting up and my head was hitting the the top of the jeepney.
I'm too scared to go.
It's like, I don't know, it's rough, man. Like, it's because of the roads and just like, there's no regulation with driving.
Yeah, so no, there's no like stop signs or like lights, and if there is any, like no one pays attention to them. You just go.
Yes.
You just go.
Literally no lines. Who cares? There's so much traffic there. Oh my god, it's
and
crazy.
Pollution.
Yeah, the pollution's wild.
Yeah, there's no AC in the jeepneys, eh?
No, your AC is how fast the jeepney's going.
You're inhaling fumes, okay?
Yeah, because there's so much traffic and, like, the cars aren't really up to date there, most of them. Like, you're inhaling smog from, like, the exhaust pipes of all the cars. If you're in Manila, Metro Manila. But yeah, did you know the Philippines is one of the world's largest producers of coconuts? Mangosteens, papayas, and bananas can also be found there. Yeah. We are the largest producer of coconuts.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
I remember my mom, she brought home, like, those mini bananas.
Yeah.
But it came in, like, one full trunk of, like, bananas.
Yes, I've seen those, yeah.
And I'm like, how did you bring this into Canada, you know?
Because are we not allowed to bring fruits in?
I don't know. I don't really know the rules. But she's like, well, they didn't check my bag, so.
Oh my god. Jenny.
And then your mom's chicharron gets taken away.
Oh my god. Yes, the last time my mom went to the Philippines, it took her like an hour. Like, we picked her up at a certain time, but it took like maybe 45 minutes to an hour until we actually saw her. And then she came out looking pissed. She was like holding her bags, but you know when moms have those eyes?
Yeah.
And she's like, they took my chicharron. I was like, why? And she's like, I don't know. Like,
so chicharron is like fried.
It's fried
pork rinds.
Yeah.
Pork rinds, yeah.
Because it was pork, it probably was
you can't bring it in, yeah.
Yeah. But it's barely meat, man. You know what I mean? It's literally fat and air.
And it's like sealed in a bag. Like,
oh my god, my mom was triggered. It ruined her whole trip.
That's so funny.
And we're like, it's fine. Most of your family has high cholesterol. We didn't need it, Mom. Okay, I've never known this, but the world's largest pearl was discovered by a Filipino diver in the Palawan Sea. It's a 75-pound pearl, and guess how much it's valued at?
2 million?
More.
4.5.
100 million.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I'm assuming USD. Which is crazy.
But it's found in the Philippines.
Yeah, in the Palawan Sea.
Yeah, so maybe 100 million pesos.
That would suck. I mean, it's still a lot of money, but like, let me look it up. Wow, it looks so big. Wow, 170,000 carats.
Holy shit.
It's huge. And I'll just read the last one because I'm skipping over a couple. But the Philippines is the largest supplier of nurses worldwide. Partially due to the limited job opportunities in the country, many citizens seek work abroad.
Yeah. Why am I not surprised by that?
I know. It's so... Yeah. I wouldn't. Yeah. Wow. That's crazy.
What was it like growing up in the Philippines? Because, like, you were born there, like, and I wasn't born there. So what was, like, from your memories, what was it like?
Okay, cool. Trying to I wanted to transition into this anyways. But, like, to be honest, I don't remember. So
you don't remember, like, anything?
No. Okay, so for context, we're both born in 93. But Allison was born in Canada. And I was born in the Philippines, in Pasay City, Manila. And we immigrated here when I turned 4. So I really didn't know much, to be honest. Yeah. I don't remember.
Nothing?
No, my earliest memory was almost drowning in a pool.
Oh my god.
Yeah, because there's this one picture, I don't know where it is, but we were taking a family picture at a pool.
In the Philippines?
Yeah. And they were taking a picture, and I think I was like 2 or 3, and I kept slipping off of the ledge of the pool because all the kids were sitting there.
Yeah.
And I don't know, man, I just slipped off, and like I fell to the bottom of the pool. And like I didn't know how to swim. This was my earliest memory. And at one point I was hallucinating because I saw a sea turtle. But one of my uncles or someone saw me just sitting at the bottom of the pool and jumped in and saved me. But like, yeah, that's my earliest memory in the Philippines. And like, that is literally all I remember.
Yeah.
But I know it was hard growing up in the Philippines. So when I turned 1, my dad left to go to Canada by himself. And so he was the last one of his family to go to Canada. So he's the eldest of 3. His mom was a nanny, so she was able to go to the to Canada and, you know, get, what's it called? PR? Yeah. She became a nanny for this family. They helped her get PR. She became a citizen. She brought her husband, and my dad helped his siblings go to school and send them off to Canada. So he was the last one. And I didn't see him again until I was 4 because he worked for 3 years trying to save a lot of money to be able to afford sponsoring all 3 of us. And my parents were so scared he'd get rejected that he said he was single. So the government, because he thought the government would be like, oh, he has a family, like that's burdensome, let's reject him. So that's why they have 2 anniversaries now that they celebrate. Yeah.
Okay, that's why. Okay, that makes sense.
And then he told me when he finally brought us to Canada that the first thing I said to him was like, are you my dad? And he's like, yeah, just because I didn't know him. I grew up without him for the first 3 years because he was working all across the country. And then from there, I remember living in Ottawa and getting bullied because I didn't know how to speak English. And I went to a French immersion school back then in Ottawa. And then we moved to Toronto, still got bullied because I was really bad at English and just super shy. We lived in a 1-bedroom apartment for a few years until the townhouse was built that I moved from. And so, yeah, my parents worked really hard to like get here, but they faced a lot of like prejudice and like criticism coming here. Particularly my dad, because like he got rejected to be a police officer because he was too skinny. When they were looking at houses, the real estate person or the person selling it just flat out denied my parents because they're like, it doesn't look like you can afford this place.
What the heck?
Which is why they went to the townhouse we eventually lived in for 17 years.
Yeah.
And that's why he has like a white voice now. Like, do you realize when my dad speaks on the phone to his like coworkers or when he's on the phone, he sounds white?
Yeah.
It's because of basically
there's like no accent.
No, but his regular voice.
Barely.
His regular voice has a Filipino accent. But he has to put on like a white voice to kind of be taken seriously by other people.
That's freaking wild, man.
Yeah. So like they really saved my brother and I from a lot of that growing up. That I honestly cannot imagine doing if it was me doing that.
Can you imagine like your life in the Philippines if you weren't here?
No, especially being queer and part of the LGBTQ community. I like cannot imagine being out in the Philippines.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Like, no. I think we'd still be poor. Imagine me with a Filipino accent though.
I don't. Did you have an accent when I met you? I don't remember.
No.
I don't remember.
I like, because I couldn't speak like English well, because I all I spoke was Tagalog. My family like knew English because there's a huge American influence in the Philippines, and so they're like, okay, guys, like for a week, so Colleen just picks up on stuff, and like they spoke it so often and well enough, I started learning English.
Yeah,
and then when they spoke to me in Tagalog, I was like, what? And they're like, oh my god. I learned it too well, but now I don't really know the language anymore.
Yeah, I understand it, but like not. I don't understand it like fully. Like I'll understand words here where I can like understand what you're trying to say, you know, but I can't speak.
There's a term for it where a lot of immigrant children, like similar to my story, have that thing where they can understand their parents' mother tongue, but they can't speak it. So it processes in one way, but like,
and there's different dialects too in the Philippines. Yes. But the main one would be Tagalog. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. So that was like anything. There's like my sister-in-law is
Ilocano.
Yeah, they speak Ilocano. There's Bisaya. Yeah. Remember?
I have no clue, but yeah.
Yeah. I don't know either. I'm trying to like make it work.
There's probably some more core Filipinos listening to this. Like, what the hell are you talking about?
I'm sorry.
You don't know
family
anything.
Members, my titas or titos listening.
This is all the information we got from Google, okay?
Yeah, no, I'm a bad Filipino in that way. But yeah, that was like my experience in the Philippines, which was barely none. But I'm a first generation immigrant of like my family because of the whole story I just told you. And it was definitely weird. Like, because it's not until you're older that you realize all those things happened. And you're like, oh my God. Like, that's kind of messed up that they had to do that. And go through all of that.
Yeah, you hear stories where you're like, what the heck, man? Like, I'm here complaining because my internet's taking like 5 seconds longer than it should. Yeah. You know? Where I should be like taking things, where I shouldn't be taking things for granted, you know?
Yeah, and like, it's definitely, because it's been so far away, like, it's been, over 20 years since I was, like, born from the Philippines, and you weren't really born there either.
No, I wasn't.
So we just, like, don't know.
Yeah, my mom came here, well, okay, actually, my whole family came from Newfoundland, actually. They're Newfies.
So you're a second generation
immigrant? So I was born here in Toronto.
Okay.
Right? But, like, my mom, like, she came here when she was, like, 20, I think.
But so your mom's a first generation immigrant.
Yeah, so my mom is. And then from Newfoundland, they were like, there's no work there, right? So that's why they moved to, which is why they moved to Toronto. So yeah.
Yeah, like Toronto, Montreal, Vancouver are like the main spots people go to for like job opportunities.
Why did you pick Vancouver?
I know.
Like, you picked Toronto?
But that's the thing, like, you either see Filipinos in Vancouver or Toronto. Yeah, like, there's no...
Yeah, my mom would tell me, like, oh, she chose Toronto because she's always wanted to work in, like, those big buildings downtown.
Overrated.
Yeah, and I'm like, listen, Jenny. I work in one of those big buildings. It's just the view that's nice, okay?
Yeah. So, like, what was... What?
Sorry, speaking of the view, I was just like, oh, it wasn't that great. I had a cubicle.
Oh, those cubicles with, like, the soft padding inside.
Like, imagine, like, back in the day, those cubicles, okay? Bro. Like, oh my God.
Typical office space kind of vibes. I know you weren't born in the Philippines, but, like, what are stories you've heard about, like, growing up in the Philippines and stuff?
Like, from, like, my parents?
Yeah.
Well, like, what are the stories? There's a lot of stories, okay? There's a lot of family drama, okay? Yeah, the stories that I would hear, because my grandma, so on my mom's side, so my grandma was actually poor, and my grandpa, was rich. So there was drama behind him being with my grandma, and it was just like,
wow.
Yeah, this is what I hear, okay? But, like, stories, like, what do you want to know? Like, I don't know.
Just, like, experiences and stuff, like,
well,
what's it like living in the Philippines, or, you know?
I don't know. I haven't been there since I was 11, but my mom, like, goes every year, except for last year because of COVID. Yeah. And she's not going again this year, but I think she rebooked it for April next year. But yeah, she goes every year, and she, like, loves it, man.
Really?
She loves it because it's like a vacation for her. Like, imagine you have your driver, you're going to all these restaurants, you're going to all these islands, you're going to resorts, and like, or like our family has like the falls that you can visit as well. And like my cousin just built like a family vacation home. So like whenever she goes there, she always has like great stories and like shows me pictures of like where they go. Like she really like lives it up when she's there. Yeah.
That's the thing though with the Philippines, man. Like when you go back to the Philippines, like your family is so hospitable to you. Like they treat you out.
Yeah, but the thing is, she spends a lot of money when she's there because it's like, obviously you're the one coming from Canada. You want to treat your family out for dinner or like help like your neighbors out. Like, you know, you always have to bring back food and like clothes, even though they're well off, like you always have to bring something. Yeah. You know?
It's like courtesy.
Yeah, exactly. And you know, you always gotta bring that spam. Spam, toothpaste. Like, it's what else?
True. Anything in the balikbayan boxes. Bro.
One time my mom was putting rice. She put rice in the box. I'm like, we have a rice field. Much. Why do you need to bring rice? And she's like how my cousin said that our rice tastes different. So she's like, they prefer our rice. Which is imported from somewhere else anyways. Yeah, like and I'm Thailand. Like, it's wild. But yeah, no, like stories like I hear from like my mom and like pictures and stuff, it's like she just lives life. Wow. Even my grandma, who's in the Philippines, like from my dad's side, she's always wanted me to go. You know, my grandma's like, come, like, so basically my grandma, she wants me to go so that I can bring her back.
That's what my brother did with my grandma.
Yeah, because she doesn't like flying alone. So, I don't know. Yeah, those are the stories.
Why don't you want to go back, though? Like, because it's too hot or something? Like...
I don't want to go. It's not like... Like, I know, like, if I were to go, probably my mom's side of the family, like, I think it'll be fun. Right? But I mean, my dad's side, like, I don't want to see my dad, okay? That's like one major thing. I don't want to bump into him, you know? And I know if I'm there, he's going to want to see me because he's like, oh, we're in the same country now, you know? Yeah. So, like, I don't want to see my dad. And, like, I don't know. I don't want to. I just don't want to go.
Yeah. I have superficial reasons because I'm just like, it's way too hot there. Yeah. I'm allergic to like half the things they eat, so I can never really enjoy.
Oh yeah, when I was like 11,
Filipino food.
Yeah, when I was there, I only ate Subway. When I was there, Subway and Jollibee. Yeah. Because obviously then, like, I was a kid, you know, I was like so uncultured, you know. But like, I feel like now I would try like new things. Yeah. Right. Certain foods. But I think like certain places, like if you have allergies, like they'll accommodate. You know?
Yeah, no, I'm talking about, like, authentic Filipino food, like...
Yeah, you can't be eating, like, food from, like, the side streets.
Which is, like, what is so good about countries like the Philippines. Like, their street food is, like, phenomenal. I wish I could eat it. But, yeah, I haven't been back to the Philippines since I was, like, 17. It was, like, a graduation gift that my parents did for me when I graduated high school. My brother came. And I stayed there for a month and everyone was super nice, but I just feel like I felt like I didn't belong because I did not spend enough time in the Philippines to have connections. Like my brother felt so at home there because he left when he was 14 versus me.
You're a guest there.
Yeah. Yeah. It's so weird to kind of think about that. I don't know. Going back to the Philippines is, like, so hard because my family comes, like, they're not well off. Like, they came from poverty, basically, where, like, one of the rules that my dad has is, like, we always have to have rice in our house. Because when he was growing up, like, they would not have meat because meat is expensive. So he would even just, like, have a small piece of, like, chicken or chicken skin or just have coffee and just eat, like, a bowl of rice. So we always have to have rice in the house because it's just, like, a staple. And, like, our neighbors that live across from us in the house I grew up in, bro, It was so messed up to see this because I was 17 and we went to visit them because the parents remembered me. But then their kids had kids or like cousins had kids or whatever. And I saw these 7-year-olds eating rice with ketchup as their main meal. And they were eating off of those, you know, those big containers with like the white lids? That was their plate. And I was like, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
So like
it's very hard to see that side of the Philippines.
Yeah, which is why it is the toughest thing for me to go back. And I probably won't go back until I have enough money to contribute in a way. Because, like, yeah, I want to go island hopping and stuff with friends, but I'm just like, that's always in the back of my head. Like, how can I have fun when I know my family, not all of my family, I'm not saying everybody's fucking dirt poor, or people around them that they know are suffering. It's just so... I say weird and trippy, but I have no other way to describe it, being torn between those two cultures.
Yeah, it's like, but when you do go back, you have to visit home first before you can have your fun.
Yeah. I don't know. Like, I don't... Maybe island hopping would be fun. That would be very relaxing.
Yeah.
Just to be in the sun. But I would bring some of my family, depending on who's there. Because, like, I do have a part of my family that's born-again Christians, and they're not really accepting of LGBT, which is really disappointing.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So there's that other layer to deal with.
That's tough, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
But what's your, like... Do you have, like, a favorite memory of the Philippines?
Favorite memory? The cool thing about the Philippines is that, like, family can live everywhere. So we went from Pasay City to Tagaytay. I think that's what it's called, to visit my tatay Danny, like my uncle, my mom's brother. And he lives all the way up in the mountains. And it was a 2-hour drive from the airport, bro. It was so long. But it was probably the most calming time I had in the Philippines because you wake up with the roosters. Like, they wake you up when they go caca or whatever it's called.
Yeah.
And we were by the water too.
Yeah.
So you could kind of go there. They were raising chickens. They had a convenience store as a business. So
convenience store.
Yeah.
So I remember when I went to the Philippines and like when I was like a kid, right?
Yeah.
So there's this one convenience store that's across from my aunt's, like, she basically owns like a Home Depot basically of like her town. Right?
Yeah, like a supply store.
Yeah. So and there's a convenience store that's like across from her, and I remember I would get whatever I want from there, but I would just have to say utang. So utang means like I owe you.
Yeah.
Right? And so at the end of the week, my aunt or my cousin, like whoever would pay. Right? And I remember at the end of the week, like my cousin was just like, what the hell? Why is it so high?
Yeah.
But it's like, yo, drinking pop from a plastic bag, I'm telling you.
It hits
different. It's like the fizziness of it is just so smooth at the same time. Like, I don't know. Like, pop in a bag? I miss that. I miss it.
I haven't had that in a while. Have I had it?
I'm pretty sure
I remember glass bottles hit different.
Yeah.
Like, when you have pop there. Because we always have it in a can.
Yeah.
Or a plastic bottle. But, bro, it's just the packaging. It's different.
It's so different. I think my favorite memory, I think it's, like, there's so much, like, that we did. Like, but my favorite memory was, so every morning, like, at the freaking crack of dawn, okay?
Oh, the...
Pandesal boy?
This is the or the other one with taho. The taho boy.
No. It was the pandesal boy, man.
Ooh.
So the pandesal boy, pandesal is, like, it's a soft,
bread.
like, airy bread.
I think it's milk bread or something.
Yeah, oh my gosh, so good, especially fresh. Oh my gosh. So the pandesal boy would always come to our house first because my aunt would buy everything.
Wow.
And then so we had fresh, warm pandesal with freaking those mini sweet hot dogs.
Yes.
And then we also had Filipino cheese, okay? Filipino cheese, it's so like buttery.
Good. It's like, I think it's, one of the brands is like Eden cheese, like Eden.
Yes.
So it looks like a stick of butter, but there's like some creaminess. Yes, like that is the perfect cheese, guys, with pandesal. I have pandesal downstairs, but I don't have Eden cheese.
It's not the same. It's not the same.
I know. I'm just trying to say.
Yeah, but it's not the same. But I'm telling you guys, if you ever go to the Philippines, screw the adobo, okay? Okay, forget it. Just try fresh pandesal at like 5 a.m. with some Filipino cheese.
Yeah, honestly, like adobo or like other Filipino dishes, people, depending on your palate or your taste, you might not enjoy it. But who doesn't like fresh bread? Yeah. This is my thing. Like, when there's good bread, it's done. Oh my gosh, for me.
I'm like getting flashbacks of it, and it's like I remember I'd be like half asleep, but I'm like, oh my god, but it's so good.
No, man, I remember the whole, like, this guy would carry like these buckets, and they'd like walk around the street. They're like
it's
or
like,
something. It's soft tofu.
And tapioca. Yeah,
it's soft tofu with tapioca or sago.
Yeah.
And just like the contrast of like the cold tofu with like the
you
the
and
sweet.
E like that.
It's so good, and when you have it with the tapioca, this was before I became allergic to soy, obviously, but bruh, the contrast was insane.
Oh my god,
so good.
If I were to go to the Philippines, like, you need to come with me.
Yeah.
You and E need to come with me, 100%. But yeah, we just wanted to share some love on Filipino Independence Day.
Even though we didn't really do much educating, I guess we talked a lot about our personal stories of being Filipino, and just like spat out some facts that really have no weight. You know, they're just fun facts.
They're just relatable, okay? If you're Filipino, you just know.
If you're a Filipino around our age and like kind of have the same thing of like, I know I'm Filipino, but I don't know much about being Filipino, hit us up because we can relate. God.
Like, your family in the Philippines are going to be listening to this, like, these uncultured swines.
Yeah. They're like, okay, all the stories you said were wrong. And I'm like, I don't know. Just what I knew.
Why did you say we were poor?
I'm not trying to throw shade to anybody, but
it's
like,
just shedding light on like how different it is back home, you know?
And this is why like so many Filipinos strive to like have better lives, or like there's so many Filipino nannies, because that's literally one of the only ways they can get out of the Philippines and try to make a good living and establish themselves in a, you know, a country with a better, like quality of life.
Oh, yes, quality. I was gonna say standard.
So close enough. Yeah. So thank you to our parents or relatives for helping us get here, because I would not be able to do any of that. I do not have the mental strength to spend those years. Like, there's people who spend years away from their kids to, like, do this sort of stuff.
You know, your parents, like, work so hard for you to, like, have the life that you have. For, like, I feel like us, like, we just never want to disappoint.
Yeah. Like, our parents literally sacrificed a good chunk of their lives to be able to give us this childhood. Like, or, you know, this life that we can now have. Yeah. God, do you ever, like, have those cringy memories where you think about how much of a little shit you were? Yeah. And I just, like... I still am. Literally cannot. This is why I try to be a good daughter.
Yeah. There's times when, like, I think about, like, my future, my life of, like, I want to have a house, I want to do this, but it's like, how can I buy myself a house without buying my mom a house first?
Literally, that's, like the first things we always say when we talk about winning the lottery is, like, paying off our family's debts. Yeah. So they're good, and always taking care of them first.
Yeah. And it's like you want to like assert that independence with your life, but at the same time you also have responsibility at home.
Yeah.
You know.
And it's not like you're being pressured to. I think it's just like it's your culture that you grew up with as a Filipino where you like will support your
and I think
family.
It's not just Filipinos. I think it's just like having immigrant parents in general, because I have a friend where like he wants to like obviously like have his own place one day and like all this stuff, but he also wants to help out his parents and he wants to buy his parents a house, you know? So I mean, yeah,
it's true. Yes, good distinction. Children's of immigrant parents like understand, I think, what we're talking about. Where like I understand now at 27, 28 what my parents had to go through that I wish I knew when I was younger so I didn't act the way I did sometimes.
Yeah.
You know, like
such a jerk. Shit. Oh my god.
Bro, I don't even
I feel like you weren't that bad though. Because I feel like you just you weren't in high school, you were home.
You know what it is?
It wasn't until college until I think you started going out and like
No, it's not that. It's just like I had no concept of like the cost of living and like money. Like I'm gonna sound like a piece of shit, but in high school we had Spirit Week.
Okay.
And so
what's Spirit Week?
Spirit Week is like each day of the week there's a theme. So one is like pajama day, the next is like crazy hair day. One of them was like color day, and each grade was assigned a color. So I was in grade 10, and my color for my grade was purple.
Okay.
And I also had an American Apparel obsession and like phase then. And I made my mom go with me to American Apparel and like buy purple clothes for that one day. And for those of you who don't know, American Apparel is not cheap.
Yeah.
And I bought like maybe 6 things to wear, and the total was $400.
Are you insane?
And the girl was like, wow, the cashier was like, you seem to really like purple. And I'm like, yeah, thanks. It's for like color day at school. And she like looked at me, and I didn't really understand why she was looking at me, because I was like, wow, so many purple things. But like my mom had to use her credit card to pay for it. And I'm like, now I'm like,
why
wow.
Why did you need 6 things for one day?
Because I wanted to like have fun and like show my spirit. Like this is what I mean. Like I thought money grew on trees, and because we were finally in Canada and like living a good life, I was like, we could afford this. And now I feel like a total asshole because I just like now $400 for paying bills like can pay a lot.
Yeah, but I think now it's like, you know, we do what we can to help out.
Yeah, like we haven't asked for money since we got jobs.
Yeah,
we've never.
Yeah,
we
it's
give money
us now giving. Yeah,
because it's
like you know what? Okay, you gotta understand. We were kids. Okay,
I know,
like,
but it doesn't
there
stop
are
me
parents
from feeling bad.
I know, but it's like we were literally so dumb. Okay, kids are honestly so dumb.
Our brains weren't developed.
Yeah, so it's like now we're grown up. We have big jobs now.
Yeah,
we can provide.
Yeah, sorry, that is literally the memory that has been eating away at me.
Really?
Yeah.
The $400 per month?
Because what? God. You know what I mean? Like, my mom didn't say a word because she wanted me to have fun.
Yeah.
And, like, have new purple clothes for, like, memories and pictures. And people loved what I wore that day.
You should just give her, like, a stack of $400, but in, like, tens, because they're all purple.
She won't. I hope she does. I don't think she remembers it, but
no, she probably won't.
She'll be like, "What is?" When she's like, "Why tens?"
Wait. When's your mom's birthday?
July 19th.
Oh, you should get like. Have you seen those balloons though, where like you untie it and it's like a money balloon?
Yeah.
You should just put all tens.
She'll be like, "What is this for?" She'll get so mad. She's like, "You could have just e-transferred me."
I know. She's like, "No, I have to go to the bank."
Oh my god.
But I mean, like, that would be so funny, man. You should definitely do that. It's so funny.
I feel like I could have done a better job talking about the history, but I'm just like, God, it's history.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I think talking about, like, growing up Filipino and, like, the facts.
And... I mean, there's like, the positive side of, like, growing up Filipino and the negative side of growing up Filipino. It's, like, I think the negative part would definitely be the constant... How do I want to say this? Like, you constantly have to look good.
Yeah, the beauty standards in the Philippines are, like,
that's the
word.
Beauty
tough.
Standards.
Yeah.
Beauty standards in the Philippines and, like, in your own family, like, growing up Filipino is such a big thing, you know, especially if, like, around your weight, too. Like,
bro,
if you would, like, go to parties and, like, teachers be like, oh my gosh, you got so big. Or, like, and then they see them, like, again, it's like, oh, you lost so much weight, or why aren't you eating? Like, it's just, like, so mentally triggering. Yeah. Where I don't want my kid to, like, grow up in that environment.
Yeah. And that's the thing. It's so ingrained in Filipino culture that, like, they don't even know they're doing it.
I was watching Kim Tai, like, on YouTube, and she's Vietnamese. And she, like, went through the same thing, like, I guess it's, like, Asian culture, to be honest. Like, just from, like, our opinion, okay, you guys?
Yeah, like, don't attack us. Don't be like, I'm not like that. We're not saying that.
We're not saying like that, but we're saying, like, you know, we've experienced it, so you can't tell us that we didn't experience it, you know? Yeah. So it's always, like, I remember, like, even being a kid, like, oh, like, don't go in the sun for too long, like, you know?
Yeah, like, why was I using toner that had whitening effects on my skin?
Yeah, wild, man.
And, like, it's crazy because the majority of the Filipinos are, like, dark. Like, when we tan, we turn brown. You know what it is, though? Like, being white, or the whiter you are, is, like, a status symbol, because a lot of the work in the Philippines is labor-based. And so if you're out in the sun, you're darker because that's all the work you're doing. But, like, people who are whiter, like, can say for themselves, like, look how rich I am. I don't have to lay a finger. I'm not out in the sun. And, like, the whiter you are, the more attractive or appealing you are. Yeah. In that way, which is why there's so many beauty products surrounded
around whitening. It's crazy.
There's even whitening powder. Like, it's good to have, like, a white flashback.
Yeah. And, like, just the obsession with weight. Oh my god, man. Yeah. It's so, like...
Honestly, it's one of the reasons why I also don't really like to visit, like, the Philippines or, like, some Filipino relatives sometimes, because they always have to say something about how you look.
Oh, yeah.
And as, like, especially as a teenager, do you know how triggering that is and how detrimental it is to your mental health? Yeah. Like, when I used to work downtown, I was passing by and was waiting at Dundas Station. And I saw this mom with her daughter who was, like, a teenager or just, like, a tween. I passed by them, and in Tagalog, they were like, oh, look how big she is. To me, about me.
To your face?
No, she said it in passing, and I don't think she thought I could understand Tagalog, but I was like, are you kidding me?
Oh my god. I would have said something.
No, because I felt so fragile at that time, and, like, I was smaller back then than I actually am now. And I'm just like, God, if she says that about a stranger to her daughter, like, what is her daughter thinking? Yeah. You know what I mean? It's so triggering.
It's very triggering, like, I feel like if you're a girl who grew up in, like, an Asian family, I feel like you could probably relate to this. Like, like 90%, to be honest. Yeah. Or even if you are skinny, you're like, oh, you're so skinny, you're not eating, you know?
Bro, there's no middle way.
It's always something. Yeah. It's always something. Yeah. And it's like, I remember, like, when I was in the Philippines, oh, you're so pretty, but oh my gosh, you're, like, too healthy. Like, you know, like, they'll just fucking say shit like that. And I'm like, oh!
Like, backhanded compliments.
I'm so triggered right now.
I know. And I think it's why, like, you tend to end up overcompensating for, like, other things.
Yeah.
Like, you know, if they're going to attack you from this angle, you got to have something good to talk about or an accomplishment so they don't think that you are your weight or you are your looks or something like that.
And again, with that, it's like, oh, so what do you do? Listen, education is so important in the Filipino culture. It's freaking crazy, man. If you didn't go to school, it's like, oh, you didn't go to school? And it's also embarrassing to your parents if you did not go to school.
Yeah. It's like, because I'm into K-pop, I'm like thinking about the South Korean like parallels. They have a super intense like culture around education and like all of that stuff, but it's like not comparable. But in the Philippines, dude, it's like if you're not a nurse, pharmacist, like
we said in our other,
if you're not a lawyer, doctor, nurse,
you're nothing, bro.
That's the thing, and I feel like that's by default why. Yeah. If you're in like Canada, America, or wherever now, and you're getting an education, it's like your Filipino or immigrant parents always think about those jobs first because it's probably the most reliable occupation
you're
back
guaranteed
home.
to get a job.
Yeah, like here in Canada, like I am so surprised by how many intelligent, educated, like open people I've met and become friends with that have never gone to post-secondary. Yeah. And whose parents have supported them because it's a different culture here. And I'm like, wow, that could never really fly.
That will not pass. I remember when I took a year off.
Oh my God, it's a death sentence. They're like, you're never going to go back.
Oh my gosh. My mom flat out said she was so disappointed in me, like multiple times that year. Like, I can't even like... But you know what? I was making money, though. What can she say? You know? I was working. It wasn't like I wasn't doing anything. I was working, and I was like, I need to figure out what I want to be, what I want to do. And, like, I actually went back, you know? I think she was scared that I wouldn't go back.
That's what my dad said, too, because I just didn't know what I wanted, but he was so worried I would love earning money in full-time work that I would never go back. Yeah. But, like, you learn quickly in jobs like retail where you're like, you need to do more.
Yeah. But it's like, I didn't go back, like, for, like, me, per se. Like, well, I did, but, like, it wasn't all about me. It was, like, I wanted my mom to see me graduate one day. You know?
Because, to be honest, like, I think with the way they interpret education, you know, growing up, like, it's integral to your success. And, like, they did all of this work to be able to... Oh, my God, my lips got stuck because they're so dry.
My God.
They did all this work to be able to provide an education for us. And so, like, I understand the pressure there. Like, I think, to be honest, the pressure eases over time. Once you, like, graduate and get a job, etc., they kind of, like, step back because they just want you to be able to succeed. Yeah. And that all the work they did was for nothing. Wasn't for any... How do I say it? And that all the work they did was for something.
Yeah, I was just always told, like, she's like, you know what, like, your education, like, no one's going to take that from you. It doesn't matter where you are in the world or what you do or what you end up doing. You will always have that, you know?
And it's to prove you can do something.
You know what? School just isn't for everyone.
Yeah.
You know?
The way, like, when I was struggling with post-secondary, the way my brother said it to me was, he's like, it's a piece of paper. Yeah. Like, at this point just with your employers.
It's like, literally just freaking commit to the 4 years and get it over with.
Yeah. Because you know what? Like, he's right. Like, when you're applying for jobs, they don't really care what you got a degree in. They just want to know that you went to school.
It depends.
Okay. Well, in most cases.
Like, depending on the job, like, they're not going to look at your application if you don't have post-secondary education.
That's what I mean. Like, they don't... Having a post-secondary education, like a degree, is like your entryway. Yeah. But most employers don't really care what you did unless it is obviously really integral to your job.
Yeah, like a doctor.
Yeah.
A lawyer.
Makes sense.
You know?
A dentist.
I think about, like, what if I continued my education in nursing? And I think about my life, and I'm like, oh, no, that is not the life for me. I am not about that 7 to 7 life, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
But the money is good.
Yeah, but the thing is, like,
the paychecks.
But being a nurse is, like, it's freaking hard, man. Like, it's not easy.
It's not. I mean, you guys deserve the pay that you get plus more.
You deserve so much
more. Plus more.
All the shit you went through to be able to do that, like, you need to get paid more. What else?
Yeah, so I think we touched base on, like, you know, the good and the bad and everything in between. Again, this is all just our opinion. Please don't take any offense to this, okay?
Yeah, honestly, it's probably messy because, like, talking about that... Oh, sorry, I'm like, my brain is dead. Yeah, if this was a messy podcast, like, sorry, because, like, our knowledge of being Filipino is messy. And so I hope you enjoyed that.
I mean, we're proud Filipinos, okay?
Yeah.
Don't get us wrong, but...
We're proud Pinoys.
But, you know,
there's really great things
about... There's the
good
and the bad.
Yeah, there's really great things about Filipino, like food being one of them, the culture and stuff, and just, like, family.
Everyone being friendly.
Yeah, that's great. But then there's also a lot of things that need work.
Yes.
And aren't the most ideal thing people think about.
There's stuff we didn't even talk about, like the government.
Okay. Yeah, this podcast is an hour and a half long, by the way.
Yeah, so we need to edit a lot of that off. Probably like 45 minutes max. I think an hour episodes are too long.
It depends. If it flows well, then keep it.
Yeah.
If it doesn't, then cut stuff out.
All right, so we hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Episode 13, you guys.
Ooh.
Wow, I actually made it just from listening through my right ear.
Well, with my thing plugged in, I can hear my voice in my right ear and yours in my left.
Oh, okay.
But yours are plugged in differently. But yeah.
So if you guys want to hear freshly brewed episodes, don't forget to follow us on Apple Podcasts and Spotify at 2 Cold Brews.
You can also follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube at 2 Cold Brews. For sneak peeks and teasers, you can check out our Instagram page.
Speaking of teasers, the teasers are back! We're going to record episode 14 now, so...
Enjoy.
Here you go! Happy Pride Month, Toronto!
Yay!